The other day, someone made a comment on one of my videos about what kind of experience have I got to be talking about life when I'm just a personal trainer, level 3 reps. Mate, I did that course, fucking hell, God knows how long, 15 years ago. Never once got a job with it, and I've never even showed that certificate to anyone. So that's that's bullshit. I never even classed myself as a personal trainer. Never worked as a personal trainer, never had a client as a personal trainer in a professional gym. In my own gyms, yeah, but that's just me working. Now, what I'm going to share with you guys in this video is the 3 jobs every man must do. So if you're 19 right now, you better get these jobs done for the next 4 months at a time. So this is my advice. This is my personal advice. These are the 3 jobs that have helped guide me through life, because at the time I wasn't reading books. I never had any mentors, never had really people telling me what to do. There was no internet, there was no YouTube. You know, one of the first jobs that I'm going to talk about today was when I was 15, 16 years old. So there was definitely no YouTube at that time. I was still at school. This is going back a very long time. 20 plus years. Fucking hell, am I that old? Yeah. 20 plus years we're going back now. So there was nowhere else for me. You know, it wasn't as easy as, oh, so-and-so recommends this book. Remember, I'm a 15-year-old kid. No one's going to recommend me a business book. No one's going to recommend me a book on how to influence people. I'm going to go to Waterstones or W.H. Smith bookstore and say, this is the self-help section. I'll go and purchase this book. You guys right now are so fucking lucky. And what I'm going to do in this video for you guys is make a list of things for you to do and observe. So you can basically fast track. It took me maybe 10 years of bullshit fucking around to get to where I have now in terms of mental, capacity, mental fortitude, or whatever you want to call it, clarity, stoic, however you want to see it. You're not born with it. This doesn't just come overnight. It takes reps on reps to build that kind of mindset in order to be strong-willed. And what I'm going to share here is the first job that every man should do, and that is being a waiter. And a lot of you think, what the fuck is this guy on about? So let me explain. First of all, I was 15 years old, and a friend of mine used to come to school absolutely knackered. And I was like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you so knackered all the time? And he goes, oh, my dad owns a restaurant and I'm working the night shift with him. And I was like, fuck, that's pretty sick. I wish my dad owned a restaurant. But, so he's like, look, we need staff. And these guys are the same age as me. We were only 15 at the time. Look, we need staff. What do you reckon? And I was quite a tall guy for the age. I was 5'11". For fucking 15-year-old, you can imagine I was skinny and tall. Most of the kids, 15-year-old, did not have a beard. I had a fucking beard at 15. I might share some pictures. Puberty came early for me. I literally left primary school and I was like, what the fuck are these things under my arms? What the hell's going on here? I had a beard. I started shaving at the age of 12. 12 years old when I started fucking shaving. So puberty came early. So by the time I was 15, I was a man. I looked like a man at 15. So my friend says to me, listen, can you do some shifts? This is what I'll pay you. I was like, great, no worries, let's fucking do it. So went with him, had to wear a black shirt, black trousers. His dad came, picked us up in the car, and we drove about 45 minutes to his restaurant, which was a little bit of an outskirts of Sheffield. And people came in, okay, you've got to hold the plates, you've got to do this. This is how you make the drinks. This is the first time I've ever seen fucking alcohol. Remember, I'm from a Muslim household. You go to a bar, or this is how you make a bar. And it's like, what the fuck's this? What's whiskey and coke? What the fuck is that? I don't know. Okay, these are the whiskeys. Oh, so there's Jack Daniels. So, okay, I see. And what, you mix with coke? How much do you put in? Oh, this is a glass. So I learn all these things. And these are very, very important skills to learn. I know, just bear with me. Just bear with me. I'll tell you why these are very important skills to learn. So you make drinks. You learn what the drinks are. Because remember, being from a Muslim household, we are not open to this from a very young age. There's nowhere my dad's going to take me anywhere and say, son, this is a beer. This is a whiskey. This is called a spirit. This is wine. This is red wine. This is white wine. This is how you drink red. No, we're not taught this fucking shit. Okay? There's no internet. There's nothing. We only see the movies. We only watch James Bond. Yeah, shaken, not stirred. That's all we know about alcohol at that fucking age. Nothing else. So it's very important to know these certain things, because in English culture, this is very important. Why? Who knows? But it's part of the culture. Don't question it. Something you should learn. So that was the first thing that I opened my eyes to. I was like, fucking hell, this thing actually exists. This is what it is. So, okay. So anyway, so he went to the back, right? What do we do now? Okay, you got to carry the plate over and you got to bring it out to the people. Where to bring it? You bring it to him. He ordered this, he ordered that, right? Okay. Right, now I want you to go over there and take that order. Take that order. Fucking hell, okay, cool. So you walk over all polite. There's a way to do it. There's a way to walk. You don't just be abrupt and stand at the table. There's a way to do it. You walk closer to the table. Guys, you ready to order? Yes, no, okay, you be polite. You always speak to the female first. Remember, this is 20 odd years ago. I know things have changed now. Women don't want, to be first. They want equal opportunities and equal rights. But this is going back a days, when chivalry was still there. Speak to the female first. What would you like to order? Make the list. What would you like to order, sir? Make the list. There's a way, there's a demeanor, there's a way you speak to people. So not only are you going to people, as a child, remember you're still 15 years old at the time, the only people you speak to are your friends in school. And even that's difficult sometimes. You're going to 8 random strangers who are a little bit tipsy, who have just finished work and they've come on a night out. And someone's cracking a joke here, someone's cracking a joke there, someone's making a comment about your hair, someone's making a comment about your eyebrows, someone's making a comment about your jaw. All this is going on, okay? So you stand there and you're walking up to a table of people that you have never seen or met in your life. You do not know how they are going to receive you. You don't know these things. Remember, this is brand new to you. So what does that teach you? It teaches you how to speak to people, how to interact with certain people. This is a very important life lesson, which most people completely dismiss. So anyway, so I spoke to the people, took the order, you went to the back, you do the stuff, you bring the plates out. Okay, guys, you done with this? Do you want any top-ups? You keep coming into the table, in and out. There's always 1 or 2 guys you're going to build that rapport with. You're not going to speak to every single person on the table. Yeah, mate, can we get this? There's always a guy, kind of the leader. Then you realize who's the alpha male, who's the leader. You can tell who's going to pay the bill. All these things are kind of like you're observing people as this happens. So I'm going to go into more depth in that in a minute. So you do this, at the end, you go, this is the bill, you take the bill, you take it in the back, you pay for it, all this kind of stuff. So those are the actions, and the fact you're on your fucking feet 10 hours a day. So remember the first thing, you are operating on 0 sleep almost, because as a child, you're waking up 7 o'clock in the morning. My school was an hour on the bus. I had to get up half an hour early, have a shower. That's just the way it was back then. You had a shower, you had breakfast, you waited for the fucking bus, then you caught the bus to school, and eventually you get there on time. I was probably on time, and this is no joke, this is actual fact. I've actually got this documented. I think in a year, 10 times I was on time. So I was always fucking late. But it doesn't matter. It is what it is, because school didn't teach me shit anyway. So I was used to make it for the first period, but I always missed the, what was it called now? The reset, what was it like when you go to the tutorial and there's like a little briefing at the start of every day. So this is going on today. You fucked about, you're in detention, this happened, that happened. I always missed that first 15-minute period, and then it was like I always tried to make it for the first lesson, but sometimes I was even late for that. So it taught you how to operate on 0 sleep, because what had happened is, second I finished school, I went home, lifted some weights, did my press-ups. The guy came 5:30, picked me up. We used to travel, the restaurant opened. 6 o'clock, the restaurant was already open when we got there. We got to work. Finished at 12 o'clock. Shit fucking hours. Finished at 12 o'clock. By the time you got home, it's 1 o'clock. As a child, 15-year-old, you wake up again at 6 o'clock in the morning. So you are operating on 0 sleep. And what that teaches you as a kid is you don't need to sleep that fucking much. So the lesson I learned there was all this bullshit about make sure you're getting enough sleep, make sure your watch says you're, mentally alert, or these calendars or these apps that people have nowadays. Oh, today's a hard day, take it slow, you haven't had enough REM. Bullshit. If you're mentally strong, you don't need much sleep. 3 hours, 4 hours, get up, get at it. If you've got something to do, 1 hour is more than enough. Sleep fucking faster, as Arnold Schwarzenegger said. So that was the lesson number 1 I learned from that job. Lesson number 2 was the shit fucking pay that came along with it. Now, as you're 15-year-old and you work it out, you're getting paid £20. This is what I was getting paid, £20 a shift. And the shift was, if you want to call it from like when I got picked up to when I got dropped off, 7-8 hours, £20. And you think, yo, I'm on like less than £2 an hour, or just a little bit over £2. Literally, I think I worked out once, it was like £2 something an hour. And some days it was more, some days it was less. And that's what you got paid. And you got fed once at the end of the shift. That was it. That's all you fucking ate. The rest of it was busy as fuck. So you learn very quick the value of money. Because before then, I didn't have a fucking clue. My dad's a taxi driver. We left, by the time my dad came home at night, we woke up in the morning, there was £2 left on the gas fire. Picked the £2 up. That was my bus fare. That was my dinner money. I had to save a little bit to buy a magazine, because that's what I like to do. Back in those days, I was used to buy like bodybuilding magazines. I used to love it. So I'd save a little bit for that, and maybe a couple of sweets, chocolates, because that's all I used to eat. I never used to eat food. I literally didn't eat food, because when it came to lunchtime, I was out playing sports, so I never really got a proper meal in. Maybe bought a flapjack at lunch, that was it. Finished work, 4 or 5 chocolate bars, because chocolate bars were cheap those days. Not fucking now. Now they're about £1 each. Chocolate bars were cheap. Came home, had my chocolate bars, went out to for a run again, or to the gym or whatever. That was the way it was back then. So I never really knew the value of that money until I earned it myself. Until you don't earn that money yourself, you're never going to know what value it holds. So when you start earning it, you count down, you sit there for 2 hours and you think, fuck, I've just earned £5 in 2 hours. Next time I spend that, I better think twice. So the value of money is very, very important to learn at a young age. Always earn it somehow. I've seen some peanuts, that's what it is. I get my daughter to do certain jobs for me, and I pay her for those jobs, and she saves the money. If anyone's seen my Instagram, she has a little wallet and she collects the money and she puts it in there, and every so often we'll count the money to see what her net worth is. And this isn't to be like, so money orientated, but you need to know where you are in life. You need to know what your new zero is. And I remember there was a time when I first earned £10,000 and I was like, this is zero for me. Then you earn 15, this is zero for me. Then you earn 20, this is zero for me. And the people around you thinking, yo, what the fuck's going on, bro? You got 20 grand over here, but you're acting broke. Good, because it's zero. £20,000 to me is zero. I'll be honest with you, it is fucking zero. If you got less than if you have less than £20,000 in your account, if you have £0 in your account, in my eyes, you're minus £50,000, because that's how hard it is out there right now. But that's another fucking story. That's another topic right now, finances. But to talk about being a waiter, shit pay, shit sleep, shit pay. Now it brings me over to table etiquette and observing people. This is very important. Like I said, Muslim family, Pakistani background, at home, we eat with our hands. Very rarely did we get a fork and knife out. Never did my mum set the table with a spoon, fork, knife, then we have to change it around, because we don't eat with our left hand, we eat with our right hand. So we have to change the shit around, because in our culture, we wipe our arse with our left hand. We don't eat with the left hand. So when you come to the UK and people say, hang on a minute, you have to get the fork, which is the thing that you eat with, in your left hand, we think this is fucking very strange. So we have to kind of modify that. Give it some modification. We change that shit and put the fork in the right hand and put the knife in the left hand. So when I go out to restaurants with English people and I'm eating, they're thinking, this guy's doing it wrong. I'm like, no, I wipe my ass with this hand. Even though it's been washed, I don't give a fuck. This is the hand I eat with, whether it's with my hands or whether it's with a fucking fork or whether it's a chapati or a naan or whatever. It doesn't matter. The right hand is what I eat with, never the left. So I had to modify that fucking shit. So all these things I'm learning, these are all new things to me. I'm learning how people put a napkin here, how they wipe their face. Another thing as well, sorry, I forgot to mention at the start. Make sure this isn't just any ordinary restaurant. Make sure the people that go to a restaurant are quite well-to-do, or at the time what you assume would be well-to-do. So for example, the people coming into the restaurant weren't coming in tracky bottoms and hoodies and jackets like this. They were coming in suits and ties after work. So these were professional people finishing work coming to our restaurant. I didn't pick that, but if I had the choice now, that's what I would pick. So luckily for me, that's the kind of restaurant my mate owned, and I just fell into that. And these were the lessons that I learned from observing people. What kind of drink they order, how many drinks they have whilst they're eating, who's the most chattiest of the group, who's having a little banter with you, which females are going to come in and have a little bit of a flirt with the young waiter. You got to pick up this shit. You start interacting with females double, triple your age at a very young age. This is very, very important. So this is why it's so key to be a fucking waiter at a young age. And I would recommend doing this before the age of 20. How to fix a drink, how to pour it, how to put a little bit of extra for the person that you like or the regular customer. Yeah, nice one, mate. Cheers for that. You know? So when you go down, this is what I was talking about. When you first step to the table with people that you've never seen in your life, there's a way, there's a demeanor, the way you walk, the way you stand, the way you look people in the eye, the way you make eye contact. You don't point, you don't say, what would you want? What would you like, sir? You know, there's a way of doing it. And the carryover from that to other aspects of your life is unbelievable. Even to this day, I'm almost 40. When I speak to people, the way I position my body, the way I stand, if I'm talking to 2 to 3 people, I make sure the guy's in my peripheral. I don't ever stand with my back to anybody. The way I am, the way I talk, everything I learned from working in a restaurant when I was 15. I never knew at the time I was learning that, but I fucking learned it. And I knew because it was one of those subconscious habits that you do. From a young age, if you are continually doing something, you're picking up and learning new skills. Remember, these are all new. This is a foreign world. You've never been in here. You've only been in a group setting with your friends in school. You've never spoken to adults. Then you start having adult banter and you think, oh, this is good. They're taking a piss out of me. Okay, I'm going to say something back and I'm going to see how far I can push without getting sacked. Then there's always that regular guy who comes, shakes your hand. You think this guy's a G. They sit down in the same booth every week, him and his mate. You're their regular waiter. You have a bit of banter with these guys. They speak to you. You ask them, what do you do, sir? They tell you, no, they're a car salesman. They run a company. They do this, they do that. You start building rapport with these guys. I'm not saying they're going to help you. I couldn't fucking tell you who those people are now. This is 20 odd years ago. I would, if they walked past me in the street, I wouldn't recognize any of those customers. But the point is you learn skills whilst being a waiter, which are very, very important. The other thing as well, who's paying the bill and how do they pay the bill? And this is a very funny one. Being Asian, I'm sure you guys have all seen Asian culture. People are fighting to pay the bill. Yeah? Another fucking peanut. I was just literally eating peanuts. There they are. So, paying the bill, very important. When Asians pay the bill, this is fucking strange. They're fighting. They literally fight to pay the bill. It's like, no, I'm paying it. No, I'm paying it. Or somebody politely goes, gets up, pays the bill, comes down and says, I've paid it, bro. And they're like, oh, why have you paid it, bro? I'm so pissed off. They argue, why did you let this guy pay? Why did you, you know? Obviously, there was no Asian punters where I was working. A few came in and that's exactly what happened. But with English folk, it was different. It was a bit more split. You paying for this? I'm paying for that. And often with females, what I noticed was even weird. So guys would often come in. Let's say the bill was 40 quid. In fact, no, I'll tell you what. Let's say the bill was 45 quid. 2 guys, well, how much is the bill? 45? All right. Here's 25, you pay 25, good. Or I'll pay 30, you pay 20. No, don't worry about it. Yeah, cool. We'll split it later. No worries. That's how they used to do it. Leave a little bit of tip. Now, females, this is something I observe with females. I'm not saying it's all females, it's something I observe with females. Females would come in and they'd be like, well, I had the curry that was $5.95 and you had the masala fish, which was $3.75. So that is no fucking joke, bro. Guys, for some reason, I don't know why. I don't know why that is. Guys don't do that. Or they never did it. Women would break down. Well, I had this drink for $1.75 and you had that drink, which was $2.80. That's how women would break it down. Then there's always one big G in the group. I've got the bill, mate. Then you observe who tips and how they tip. There's different versions of tipping. So you can always tell who's going to be a big tipper and who's not. And often it's people that you would not assume to be a big tipper. You know, you see a guy, nice suit, walking in, sparkling trainers, nicely polished up, comes in, £18.50 the bill is. You leave him the 150 change and he picks up the 150 and walks out. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, this is the UK. It's not America. If you're watching this in America, in the UK, you're not obliged to tip. There's no, charge. You don't have to tip. It's not the way it works. The restaurant pays in full. Well, I should say didn't pay in full because I was underage working at the fucking time. So I was getting paid fucking peanuts. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because I didn't really care about the money so much. I literally, even at that age, wanted the experience. Yeah, the money was great because fucking hell, as a kid, I'm earning something a night, which I don't even get off my dad in 2 weeks. You know, for 2 weeks, I'm earning in one night. So you can imagine that if you do the maths, you're like, I'm rich, bro. You know, so I bought my weight set with that. I went to gym membership with that. I did all the extra stuff with it. I didn't really save it. I wasn't into saving at the time. So that's a big thing. Being a waiter, you're seeing how people are in restaurant settings is very, very important. I think it's a skill that every single person should have. And if you're one of those people out there who find it hard to speak to somebody new or can't go into a group of people and say, excuse me, what's going on here or what's going on here, I think other than the gym environment, that's something we're going to talk about in a separate video. But the number one job every man must do before he is 20 is being a waiter. There's 2 more as well. I'm not going to mention in this video. Those videos are coming. But number 1, be a waiter. And hopefully if this video brought you any value, please subscribe, comment down below what your first job was, and like the video.